Hey, what's up, guys? Ben from iSportsStop here with Richie Donnell. Today we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns draft class. Hopefully they're going to turn this team around.
Yeah, this is probably arguably the best draft they've had since coming back as a team in the late 90s. And obviously you got to start with the number one overall pick, Myles Garrett. There were rumors they were going to take Trubisky, but they didn't overthink it. They went with the right choice here, and they took the best prospect, in my opinion, in the class. That was Myles Garrett. Still going throughout the first round, they added another defensive weapon in Jabril Peppers. If Greg Williams can figure out how to use this guy, he's a boomer bust guy, but if he booms, it's going to be an explosion like maybe never seen before in Cleveland. And then you got to talk about the weapon in David Njoku, a guy that I had a little bit lower just because of the raw abilities. I think it's going to take him a year or two to really fill out that potential. But with the need of weapons there, I think that Njoku has the possibility to come in right away and give them a much-needed boost on the offensive side.
It's hard to have a bad draft when you have 3 first-round picks. It was like Minnesota a couple of years ago when they had 3 first rounds. Everybody was raving about it. And it's the same thing here. And like you said, Myles Garrett, this was a no-brainer at number 1. Everybody, can say, oh, what about this guy? No, Myles Garrett was the right pick at number 1. There's no question there. And like you said, with Jabril Peppers going to Cleveland, Greg Williams needs to have a certain specific plan for this guy. If he does, I mean, you're looking at possibly the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And with David Njoku, I like Njoku, but the problem here is who's going to throw the ball to him. Is it going to be Osweiler? Is it going to be Kessler? Is it going to be Deshaun Kaiser, who they picked in the second round? All I know is Njoku really worked really well in Miami because he had Brad Kaya throwing to him, and it was a great partnership there. Njoku needs a good quarterback, and if he does, he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
Yeah, and you talked about the future with Deshaun Kaiser, possibly maybe one day being the franchise saver from the quarterback position. You don't know yet. The best thing that they can do is let him sit for a year, just let him learn and develop. This guy could arguably have the highest ceiling of all the quarterbacks only because he is such a gifted athlete with such a rocket arm. Some of the things that he can do athletically, you just can't teach that, which gives him that boost with a high ceiling. But also getting possibly another starter, not in the first round. That's Roderick Johnson, which I thought was a very, very good pick for them. They've been talking about Joe Thomas either retiring or being traded for the last 2 years. This guy could possibly be the replacement, possibly be the starter on the right side for the next 10 or so years. But the one pick that kind of confused me a little bit was they took Caleb Brantley in the 6th round and then decided maybe we made a mistake and we might have to cut this guy. Why would you do something like that?
Well, there's a lot of off-field issues going on with Brantley right now, and a lot of information that's just slowly coming out to the public. Sashi Brown and Hugh Jackson, they need to figure out what's going on here. If he's innocent, he's a huge steal in the 6th round because he was expected to go in the 2nd round. But if it comes out that this guy did something really bad, cut him loose. I mean, a 6th round pick, not too much of a risk there. So overall, I liked the pick. I mean, I never promote somebody, drafting a criminal, but right now he's innocent until proven guilty. So with Roderick Johnson, I don't see him as a future left tackle. He has the measurables, kind of a guy like, Melanie Watson or Eric Flowers for New York, but I see him moving inside. And he could be a future inside guard for the next 10 or so years. But I want to talk about their 7th round picks, Zane Gonzalez. He's to me, he was the best kicker in the draft, and I never promote picking a kicker before the 6th round. If you get a kicker in the 6th or 7th round, I think that's a good value. There was at least 1 or 2 kickers picked before Gonzalez, which I was a little bit surprised about, but Gonzalez could be the kicker of the future for them. And then Matthew Days. I don't think Days is ever going to be a future or a starting running back of the future, but this is a guy who you put in on 3rd down and just let him pass block because he's the best pass blocking running back in the draft.
Yeah, this is a guy who's he's just a gritty, good football player who could possibly have a longer career than anybody. I mean, this is a guy that fits the mold of just that scrappy guy who sticks around for 10 to 12 years, and 15 years from now, we're going to be thinking, how is this guy still in the league? But because he's just a good football player and does things well. For me, I gave him a B+. The only thing that hurt them, I thought, was they didn't draft a receiver They must be sold on Corey Coleman. But what are they going to do with Josh Gordon? Do they keep him? Do they not? And that was the only thing that concerned me was you talked about, well, who's going to throw them the ball? Well, they drafted Njoku, but who are they still going to throw the ball to because they still need to get more weapons on that offense?
And, with Cleveland, they had needs everywhere.
Yes.
No doubt about that. I mean, they had needs at, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, just go down the list.
Yes.
And they addressed some of the needs, obviously. But I'll give them an A. Because I think they did get some solid picks, in the later rounds. Larry Ogunjobi, I think, is a nose tackle of the future. Howard Wilson, I like that pick. And like I said, Gonzalez and Days, solid picks.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to go to our website, mysportstop.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more original videos.